Oh, this is weird. I'm just sitting in my little hole in the wall here with the door shut,
They
working
just
away.
wave to you. They'll walk by and like, there's Jim. He used to do stuff.
Oh, used to be useful. Good
Hello.
morning.
Your
Hello.
glasses.
I've joined you.
Did you just get glasses?
Yeah. There weren't
I like
enough
'em.
similarities, you know.
Yeah. I can mess my hair up a little bit here, and
Shut up.
I don't ride into work. It's a little different. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Feel back to normal-ish, I guess. Ready
Well
to...
rested.
Yeah, surprisingly. I mean, I slept in a car a few of the nights, so I don't know how great that rest was, but I think I've recovered from that. Yeah.
Cool. Where were you?
Oh, this weird corner of Washington State that seemingly nobody goes to, because all of our friends from the Seattle area were like, yeah, I've never been out there, but it's like the Olympic Peninsula, the upper left, west of Seattle, and it's like the place in the United States that gets the most rainfall of anywhere. I think maybe Hawaii gets more,
Yeah,
but
wow.
it's a lot. It's very
Cool.
different. I mean, it's still very green and lush like a lot of the state is, but yeah, it's nice.
Well done.
How have
Good
you been?
one. Well done. Good. Good. No camping, unfortunately.
In the winter. Oof.
Look, the winters are pretty sunny here. Cold in the mornings, but
Yeah.
Castlemaine, where we are, we get crisp, clear, sunny days. It's quite.
Yeah,
It's not that wet.
that's good.
No, it's been a good couple of weeks. Yeah.
They're playing with interesting ways to do threading on the pencil sharpener, it seemed like.
Yeah, I'm trying to dream of a 5-axis via a hot glue gun. Made that
The only
really
way to do it, honestly.
Made a really janky little fixture that mounts in the chuck and has that angled surface.
Mm-hmm.
So I can machine my stool tops, the female thread on an angle. It worked pretty well. For it, I think we can make a really nice steel fixture.
Ooh,
Oh, your microphone gain just went up. It's back to normal now.
that's kind of weird.
It's fine now.
Okay.
I could just suddenly hear everything in the room.
Ugh.
Oh,
It's a little personal.
that's been fun. I must say, just missing 1 week of. Oh, there we go. I can hear your. Oh, it's gone again. Weird. Anyway, I must say, it's been last week missing a podcast recording. It's
Is it
really
bad?
it's just coming in and out. It's really like a stethoscope where suddenly I can hear into your chest.
Great. Oh, automatically adjust microphone volume. How's that?
There we go.
Stupid. Zoom doing stuff. Yeah. Well, oh, watch this.
Oh,
I
how'd you
figured
do
it
that?
out. Stream Deck, and
So
I can also do this.
Coffee down.
I've only got two right now, but we're on our way.
Done on speed dial. That's a dream.
I almost got that accomplished. When you're like, I'm 5 minutes late today, I was like, oh, I might have enough time to add another one. Didn't. But you're saying 1 week off,
it's
not
just
having the
the 1
podcast.
week. Yeah, no podcast recording last week meant that I had slightly less accountability to my early mornings. Missed it.
What? Dude,
1, 2, 3.
we're all over the place today.
I think this is
Boy,
officially
boy.
what you call a schmozzle. Yes. What was I saying?
1 week off.
1 week off and it's a mess. Yeah, not being accountable for one early morning last week meant that I was a bit slack with all my early mornings last week and into this week. I found myself feeling a bit down on Tuesday. I was like, what's this about? I was like, oh, I just haven't been doing that little bit of me time in the mornings.
I get that.
I think that couple, even if I only get half an hour in, just that little bit of off the clock tinker time,
Yeah.
R&D has been, just really valuable to keeping me sort of buoyant, I suppose, and not getting too bogged down in just standard business activities throughout the day.
For sure. It's like, I don't know, like changing up what you're doing every day definitely helps too. I've noticed whenever I'm deep into like just fixing a problem day after day and not following any type of like, not pattern, but just things that are different every day, you know? I tend to get pretty stale and frustrated and my mind is crappy.
Yeah. Yeah. How's production flowing?
It was pretty good. Ricky actually had some time off too, so we had a couple days of nobody here, which was interesting.
Yay.
Hasn't happened in a long time. The printer's been pretty good. We ran out of filament, actually. Prusa took a little longer to get us filament again than we expected, so I had a few days of downtime, and then Ricky kept it going while I was gone. He's currently making some of those Chemex rests right now. You can probably hear that. But
Sure can.
is it loud?
It's fine.
No. Yeah, other than that, we've been finalizing the last production details of, do you glue this thing into the plate or does it just get press fit? Like stuff that's just trying to scale it up. But the orders have kind of kept coming in. They slowed after the weekend and then haven't had any since Friday. So I don't know if I pissed off Google or something, but yeah, it happens.
But they've kept moving though, post-launch.
Yeah, I've been happy about that. I've got a couple more potential options too. Like I figured out a way, I think somebody had recommended, maybe you said this too, to just offer reducers for people who can only do 4-inch ducting. I've got that coming up as an option. You'll be able to buy that and we'll send you a reducer with it. So, because it needs like a little piece of 5-inch flex duct to come with it, and you don't want to go buy 20 feet of it for yourself if you need 6 inches. So we'll just cut off a little bit, and I'm hoping that brings in a few more and trying to get more people that have other machines that want to test it.
Yeah, for sure. That'll change with time as you get them out into the world, I reckon.
For sure, yeah.
That's cool. I was going to ask, Josh was doing some printing here yesterday, and he was demonstrating a melt-in M3 thread set. I was really impressed with how well it held into the PETG print.
Yeah.
Amazing. Cool.
How do you melt it?
I think he was using a soldering iron.
Interesting. Yeah. I've bought a couple of those. Remember the one I showed you, the one for the side drilling? Those are intended to be melt in, I think, or press in, and I just smashed them in to the point where they need to be melted, and they stay on their own anyway. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, those are awesome. Figure out more ways to use that because I really like it. Yeah,
I was just really impressed. Like, he gave me a scrap one to like try and wrestle it out with a pair of pliers, and it was really tough. Impressive.
Yeah, soldering iron's a good idea.
Do you buying filament through Prusa? Is that how that works?
Trying to find some alternatives because they're a long ways away. And we already had one scenario where we ran out. So and you know, I've had a couple people ask me, Ricky asked me when I got back from vacation, he's like, when do we get another printer? Because we can do, only a couple a day if we're really on it. And like today we had it just had a layer shift. And it's the first time ever. It just totally shifted over about, 40 millimeters up probably. And so that was crap, and it had been printing for 4 or 5 hours already. Now we've lost one. Now this one will finish like when we're probably laying in bed,
Yeah.
So I can't start another one for the night.
Do you run it overnight?
We have been, yeah. Which freaked me out for a long time, but then I did some Googling, and it seems as if there's really been like no examples of Prusas causing fires so far.
Yeah, in our studio, the art studios that Laura runs, we used to have a guy in there who ran like a whole print farm.
Oh, wow.
And like 10 to 15 printers or something. And we were doing some research at the time, and we found these like fire extinguishers that look like soccer balls, and you can kind of mount them on the wall.
Yes.
I can't remember if we used them in his studio, but I ended up buying some for here, and I've got them in our dust extractor bag house.
Yeah.
Outside. And so if the dust collector ever went up, there's like these 2 soccer balls mounted inside there that will just explode.
You did get some interesting. You haven't had it happen, I assume. Like
no, I haven't tested them.
Make it go boom.
But I feel good that they're out there.
Yeah, we have to like recertify our fire extinguishers. And the last time I did that, I asked the vendor about those. I was like, have you ever seen these the soccer ball fire? He's like, yeah, they're cool. They don't really work though. And I was like, is that because you don't sell them? Or like you want me to buy some $1,000 suppression system? I didn't ask him that, but I've seen those videos too where it like explodes and puts out the fire like with compression. All right, so my surprise of my trip.
Surprises.
Includes a show and tell. We do have wallabies in the United States. My wife, Erin, we went to Seattle on the end of our loop of our trip, and she just happened to stumble on this like wallaby farm in the Seattle area and blindfolded me to go there because she knew it would be somewhat humorous for us to review. because we just talked. I showed her that clip, but he has albino ones. This guy, which I found to be very strange and
very strange,
maybe unethical. I don't know. This guy was quirky as hell. Like aside from the ethics, because he seemingly sells them, and I don't know how I feel about any of that. But he does an educational program for schools and like educates about kangaroos and wallabies, and so he has a few.
Awesome.
What do you think about this? Is this weird as hell?
That looks like that's a kangaroo right there.
Yeah, that's a full kangaroo, yeah. I think that one's like 4 years old. Does this seem odd and like shady to you that there's kangaroos here and this guy's like an exotic breeder?
I don't know. I figure this just happens, right?
Yeah. I'm a little hesitant to talk about it because I was like, I don't want people to think like I'm out here supporting some kind of weird exotic animal trade, but
yeah,
it was entertaining.
I don't think we'll be putting a link into his wallaby farm, but
No, they are very interesting, especially as docile creatures. He was saying that, like in Australia, people don't have them as pets per se, like he has them.
I've
Maybe
never
that's not true.
one.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, they're not animals you touch. Yeah.
No, I've had one lick my hand, and it's just like a dog. Very, very strange. I mean, they kind of look like giant rats as wallabies, but it was cute. Like this one, right? Like laying in the shade, hanging out. It's like, is that a giant rat or a wallaby? Anyway, funny experience. Aaron was like, Jem will love this. And I was like, I don't know, will he? Or is he going to think like we're weirdos?
No, it's a bit weird.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
As long as the wallabies were happy.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say. They are all very well seemingly cared for. Like he raises them in his house until they're a certain age. It's like you may be a little too familiar with these things.
When you flashed up your screen share there and I just saw like thumbnails, I was like, Justin, what have you been doing on Dali of your holidays?
I made myself into wallaby farm. Oh boy.
Also on the health check, seeing your taskbar across the top of your screen there with like how many little applications and icons you've got.
There's a few, yeah.
Go on, my lord.
I have little too many things. I've always wondered if like I have enough things running in the background that's actually like eating some of my computer resources.
Well, I'm fully recovered from my wallaby incident, and
that's good.
It slowed me down in the dark. I don't ride as fast in that section anymore.
Yeah,
and I've got a new head torch which is incredibly bright.
Blind them
like a car headlight attached to my helmet. It's fantastic.
That's great.
It's been good.
I did hear one growl a little bit in another one. It was kind of interesting to hear it. Like I was like,
they make
Chloe. I was like kind of tough, growly noise. I was kind of hoping they made other noises.
They make pretty creepy noises when you're asleep in a tent and they're just milling around outside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, weird. Yeah. What else is interesting?
So I had someone comment on Instagram the other day in a DM. They're like, I'm looking forward to the July product launch on your new monthly schedule. Like, oh, damn it. People listen to this. That's right.
There's a responsibility or reliability.
But I'm going to call it now. For recording on the 21st of July, I'm going to skip it because, calling it early. I rushed out Kidda V2 at the end of June, and I feel like we still haven't given it the justice, like given it the service it requires to be like fully formed. Like it's online, you can buy it. There's still so much work to do in terms of putting all the resources online. We still haven't listed the individual components for sale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to shoot some new photography today of new configurations and then get all of that online. So I feel like, I've got way more work to do on last month's launch before I can just rush out another product.
Yeah, I'm supposed to say, like, that's not acceptable, right? Is that my role here? Yeah, I get that. I mean, I do this way too often where I'm like, I'm going to get this thing out. And then it rolls into the next cycle. But that's a huge one. Like, I guess I'm rationalizing for you that a product launch is like, what are you going to define it as? Is it another piece to the kit of parts, which is just a minor update that's your product launch? Or is it always going to be a full system of things, which is wild? I don't know how you could do that.
Yeah, I think that's probably being too ambitious to do anything that's remotely system-like on a monthly basis. But I would like to keep ticking things along. Actually, you know what? I might be saved by the team.
Breaking news.
someone else might sneak through and overtake me and get there in the next week and a half, because Ben and Josh have got a little wardrobe unit that's well on the way. I think I saw a prototype being made this week. And that's simple. Like, that's not so much a system. It's more a sort of standalone thing. So that's something that we could potentially get online. So yeah, hold the phone. We might get there.
Stop the presses. Don't let this go out. Interesting.
TBC.
I should probably set some type of goal around product launches. We actually have it feels like I have an endless list of things to be working on at the moment, product-wise, which is nice. Maybe I've always felt that way since we started in October doing this. The duck tower now we're getting... I'll never be able to say that without a laugh. Quack, quack. We have gone through a bunch of iterations, mostly digital, and gotten to this pretty nice form that we're getting quoted to do prototypes. I think that could come out next month pretty easily. It's not a major product, I would say, but it's definitely something that solves a problem for people like us that were using weird ducting solutions before.
Great.
That'll be nice.
The name that I was laughing at, it's that every product of yours that you mention now, my mind just flashes over with all these DALL-E images of things that you've burnt into my retinas.
Yeah.
That can't be unseen.
Yes, exactly.
Does the Tower of Duck involve a bit of sheet metal brake press bending?
Yeah,
stuff.
I just sent you, there's kind of an assembly one in Slack, and then the last two are kind of more closer to what we're probably going to make, where it's got some material relief. And a big concern for me is not adding too much weight to that spindle, because it, affects speed, and it would maybe have too much camber on it or something, or not camber, but lean. Yeah. They're already supporting other stuff, and what we've put on ours, this is really close to that weight so far, so...
Is that aluminum or steel?
This is steel. We looked at aluminum, but it was strangely expensive, but the weight is super great. And also one of the bends, everybody kept telling me, you're going to break that if you try and bend it. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't know how to bend aluminum at all, so teach me.
Yeah.
Kind of came back to just steel was, if you make it thin enough. My only concern is it flopping a little bit, but we'll have to see how that holds up.
Yeah, cool.
It's a weird game between weight and strength.
Yeah. Does your machine have a floating Z-axis? Both of our machines have got a float in the Z, so
what do you mean by that?
You can physically, if you stand on the table and lift the spindle, it'll float up, it'll ride upwards on rails in the Z+.
I don't really understand.
So
I don't know. I mean, it goes up and down on its own axis, but
on its own rails, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, so what would happen? If the spindle was off and you had a tool in the spindle and you just drove it in a negative Z down into the table bed, ours will just hit the table, and then the steppers or servos or whatever will continue to go down, but the spindle will stay where it is and just kind of ride up on this sort of maybe 3-inch travel of safety.
Weird.
If that makes sense. It's really weird. Both of our machines have it.
Never heard of that. Maybe, I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. It basically is the same mechanisms. It's on a ball screw, and it's got a stepper, and it has that little weight balancer. It basically offsets the weight of the spindle. That's what that stupid big looking thing is on the side.
That's what that thing is. Okay, yeah. No.
Is honestly the biggest problem for ducting, because it always gets tangled in that. And I always think, I'm going to either rip my spindle down or all of my ducting.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a weight balancer, but we've got this weird floating Z mechanism.
So does yours, the reason that they put it on, they said, which makes sense to me, is the Z would be limited in terms of its speed. It wouldn't be able to raise as fast as the other axes would be able to move. So you'd have a weird limiting factor of say you could go 500 inches a minute, X and Y.
Yeah.
We haven't done this yet, the inches per minute thing.
I used to run a plasma cutter in Imperial. I have some sense of that.
So say one is 500 X and Y, but the Z would then, when it raised, would go to 300 because it couldn't raise with the weight, basically. I don't know why. I guess you wouldn't just put a bigger stepper on it. Their solution is
that's interesting.
Pneumatic, which is kind of a cool solution.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, I think it sounds like both of our machines are pretty slow in the Z compared to what you're quoting. Like I think they're limited to 150 inches a minute in the Z, both up and down.
Oh yeah,
in their settings, so it's quite slow.
There's a bunch of things. I bought that router, the Shopsaber, intending to make 3D things, and so when I was shopping at that show, and looking at the BSEs and you'll love this one. There's a machine called the Freedom Machine, right?
Freedom Machine. Yeah.
Freedom CNC or something, like new CNC, all of them. Like it felt to me like the best price for what you're getting was definitely Shopsaber. And this is where we turn into a Shopsaber ad. Ball screws I really liked, and then honestly, that whole like Z-axis, it has 12 inches of clearance underneath the gantry, which is crazy,
huge.
And then
awesome.
Also that balancer meant that it could go as fast in all axes, and I was like, that's
pretty good.
Brilliant.
That's cool.
Nobody else really talked about it like that.
Yeah. I suppose if you've got 12 inches of Z, then you want a decent feed rate on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Ours has only got 4 inches of Z, 100 mil.
And what's funny is we still, all the time, probably like every other month, we'll have somebody go, hey, I've got this part that's like 15 inches tall. Can you cut it? I'm like, God, I thought I had enough space there, like.
With what?
Yeah, right. With what? A chainsaw attached
tool?
To a 5-axis?
Yeah. I think the only time we run into Z-axis height limitations is if we're trying to put like big round things on the table.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Fixture up sort of components.
Yeah, for sure.
No, we've been printing more and more. And Josh has been training others on the team how to run the printers. I saw him teaching John the other day how to get stuff out of Fusion and onto the printer, which has been cool to see that happening just autonomously. And John, as machinist, has printed some new collets for the Pencil Sharpener the other day. Just all kind of happened independently of me, which is awesome.
Are
We've
you
got
seeing this
some
warning?
issues. Nope.
Apparently we have a warning that will end in 10 minutes.
10 minutes left. We've got this problem in the Pencil Sharpener where, because we pre-oil the stock, pre-sand and pre-oil the stock, so it's going in finished.
Whoa.
And the 3-jaw chucks do tend to mark it just a little bit, depending on how, like, as it's doing the part transfer between the two parts, you can get a little bit of a chuck mark.
Yeah.
So John solved that all of his own accord just by printing a little collet, kind of like the collet we made for the square stock, but for round.
Yeah.
And it's just like this. It's a soft jaw, right? So it's now got 3D printed soft jaws, top and bottom, and it's awesome. No more marks.
And so it compresses directly onto the dowel?
Yeah.
And you don't get like 3D layer lines then?
Well, it's so much more surface area than what the chucks were providing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What material is it? The print?
PETG, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, there's so many things. I blown away more and more. Like my assumptions of its durability or strength is, it depends. Like sometimes, depending on how you design something, it is junk still. But it's pretty amazing what they can withstand. Like the drilling jig we made, and like honestly, all of the dust boots are like, I don't think 2 years ago or a year ago before we got all this, I would have never thought this would work,
Yeah. Have you stress tested those boots?
I haven't been able to, I've squeezed the heck out of them, but I should. Yeah, more and more. Nothing is broken on any of them. We do have some QA that ends up taking out an unfortunate amount of them because they have a little printing issue that looks like it could have a delamination in the future. So I'd say we lose 3 to 4 a week, probably at least, from blobs and things that just happen. And I don't know, haven't figured out any good ways to like really improve. Like what I would love to be able to do with it is I don't know if you watched them enough, but like ours will collect crap around the tip, and and when it's printing, like the whole one boot, by 2/3 the way up, it'll like slip off into the piece, and then now that's a defect. And what I want to be able to do is like have it go over into like a Brillo pad and like wipe its tip off a little bit and then come back, which is probably possible, but I don't know. Haven't figured that out.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be a good reliability upgrade if you could get that to work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because it runs G-code, right? You could just insert bits of code into the program to do that. Yeah, cool.
The other thing I've seen people do, which is really appealing, but Ricky and I have talked about, we can't imagine it working, you'd have to have a whole nother level, is people will either tilt their beds a little bit or put them upside down. And so once you turn off the heat, you can use the gantry itself to push the part off in either direction.
Wow.
And so they slide off and you can print again without basically and loop the code, which would work,
cool.
Except for the fact that almost every time the bed has a bunch of detritus on it, which we've always been really fastidious about cleaning it with like isopropyl alcohol between and keeping that really clean and precise. And we never have anything pop off, which is great. So it would be nice so that we could do this thing in the middle of the night. When it gets done, it just starts again. But I just can't imagine that they would stick. And then we'd have like another spaghetti monster in the middle of the night.
Just need a little can of isopropyl attached to the gantry that this.
Oh, what about an air blast? That's a good idea.
Yeah, alcohol blast.
Alcohol.
Hit that button because I'm getting a coffee.
Put that coffee down.
There you go.
Right on cue.
That's good. That was some good foley over there. Foley.
They
call it coffee pouring.
Oh yeah.
It's nice.
I can put the lapel mic in the coffee jug next time.
Please pour coffee over your mic. We've got 4 minutes left. What happens?
Oh my gosh.
We just get kicked off.
Set up an isopropyl mister / flamethrower in the process.
I thought you were going to say for the computers, and I was like, I don't know. You get it to auto restart.
Yeah, I wonder why it's kicking us off.
I don't know. We've done this for 15 times, and this is the first time today. But we've been using the same thing the whole time. I don't understand. Anyway.
Officially a schmazzle. Schmazzle.
I never heard that word till you said that.
Are you designing in-process products?
Well, I think I wrote that a couple weeks back, but I was thinking about my process for developing things is pretty rough. Sometimes I make like a Google document or like I'll make an actual project in our normal job shop thing, but there's no like, I don't have a good place. And I think I start to lose, I get stuff all over the place. It'll be like on my draft app, it'll be on my notes app, all these different places where I'm like researching hardware and this process. And then I want it to be associated with a project. I don't know. But do you have something better than my scattershot approach?
I wish. No, I feel like I'm scattershot as well. I wish I had a good answer.
I wish I was a little bit taller. Wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her.
What do I do?
I guess I'm thinking of this now. Like we have a couple, which I'm a little frustrated with my lack of foresight, like NAC and then PDX CNC product Airtable bases are separate. So then all the inventory gets messy with...
You got separate bases for different products?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like trying to make them useful for each one. Honestly, I don't think it was a good choice, but I'm thinking now, say it all got combined or used one of them, like your like butter base for, I don't know what it is. It's just like, is it just a status thing? The product has a status and you filter out those in development views products. So then it also could live with it as it goes forward, like all the development things. And
I would say it's all together and it's just filtered into views.
Yeah, seems to be the best.
I feel like I'm still really just at the sort of tip of the iceberg in terms of what's possible with filtering. But yeah, my logic has been to dump everything into one base, everything that's thematically related, at least.
Yeah.
Fusion's just put up its tools overlaid over Zoom.
Oh, those are...
Why are you doing that, Fusion? That's great. Really useful.
That whole like display thing is wonky. It's always like showing up. The browser will show up over top of like Photoshop or something, and you can't get it to go away until you switch back and forth a few times.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
But no, my problem with my systems in Airtable is that I don't refer back to them enough, consistently enough. So, I've built what I think is quite a good sort of to-do project management system for myself, just the one that I refer to. But I put stuff in there and I don't, necessarily go and look in the right places at the right time and go, oh, that's right, I need to do that.
So the one you use for yourself is only accessible by you? Like it's a separate one?
It's within the company structure. Anyone could go in there and have a look at it. But yeah, it's a separate base that I use.
Interesting.
Although I did set up a private base the other day to try and help manage my HR requirements.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping staff notes from our quarterly check-ins and stuff like that.
I used one for our home renovation. Forced my wife into using it, and she
Oh, bye. Goodbye. Oh. Do.
Oh, God. All right, hold on. Nobody will ever know.
Ta-da. Seamless.
Ta-da. See,
morning.
That was instant. Good. We just start over.
Clap. And 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I know something I was going to tell you. I think we talked about podcasts like disappearing, right? Like I had that thought yesterday I was listening to my favorite podcast and somebody had mentioned like a Facebook group I'm in or something about it. It was like, oh, I think they're starting to drop off the end, like the beginning. You can't see them anymore in certain places. And it made me think like, ooh, there's this one I really like. I want as an archive. I like want it in, when the internet stops working someday in 2050, like I want to be able to have all of them on a cassette player somewhere. So I found this app for $2, Podcast Archiver for Mac, and you just give it an RSS feed and it just pulls them all down onto a drive. So I have like 20 gigs of this podcast on a drive now.
You're an apocalypse resource. I like it.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
But pretty cool. I like
You're
it.
The prepper of podcasts.
The podcast prepper.
Very good. Oh, well, then you can get it all pressed to vinyl.
Yeah.
So it's safe forever.
Survive an EMF. But you need to get an analog amp, tube amp.
Gramophone. Yeah. Welcome to Parts Department.
That was perfect. We've had this nice little process. I think I've shared. I was going to make a little reel of it, I think, but we use our Shapokeo to do the first operations on our Chemex bases. We basically like machine the bottom with some tabs so that it fits from rough stock into the fixture on the shop table real nicely. Cool. And it doesn't need a second operation, but we figured, it kind of works out well, like so that you have an actual flat side on one side and it fits into the fixture nicely. And that's been so slick. We've got this little like Raspberry Pi that runs the Shapokeo now. Got this whole setup where I actually added today, I don't know why I didn't think of this, the Raspberry Pi can install, I don't know what it actually runs. It's some kind of like Ubuntu thing on its own. I don't even know, but I was like, oh, I can use the printer from here because it's sitting right next to it. And we got a monitor set up. So now that little Raspberry Pi can run the Shapokeo or start the printer and control it. And it's all in this little like cell. I was pretty excited. I figured out how to print from the internet today on it. Should have done this a while ago.
Why do you have a Shapokeo? Does that predate the shop table?
No. I got it when I was making the Intro to CNC course. We could do training videos with it. And we've had a few scenarios, but this is the best case we could totally do all of it on the shop table, but it's kind of the perfect little job for it. We've got these little clamps. You just go over there and push start and it chugs away and cuts out parts. And we like that kind of like two-step operation. It's kind of nice.
That's cool. That's fun. I like that. Yeah, something very appealing about that. And maybe it's just from listening to too much business of machining, but the multi-machine two-stage operation is attractive for some reason.
For sure. I guess
it
also
speaks to using your resources effectively, doesn't it?
Right. Like Grimsmo's like buying a $150,000 machine to make his $1 million machine more time, basically. It's like not a problem I've ever had, but, interesting to think about. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've got a, I don't know if I should talk about this on the podcast, actually. Oh, damn it. I'll try and... I'll keep it loose. Got a conundrum at the moment where we've done heaps of work over the last year on our margins and ensuring that we're charging enough.
Yep.
And really tightening up that structure in terms of how we quote our products and custom projects. I've got a client who would love to be able to distribute some version of Kidder parts.
Oh.
And aside from the design question of whether I even want to distribute Kidder parts, which I'm not sure what I do, but say that hypothetically I was like, yeah, cool, let's come up with a distribution model for Kidder parts. I don't know if I can make, it would kind of be going backwards for us on all our margin improvement to then set up a margin that's going to work for them with the multi-layered distribution model where, he's not the end. He's like 2 steps backwards. So there's like
Yeah.
at least 2 more margins that need to be added on top of that. So I'm a bit torn at the moment in terms of thinking about that. But what made me think of it was sort of optimizing machine output. And,
Yep.
you know, the pencil sharpener currently sits dormant 4 days a week because it's too efficient and it smashes out everything we need to really quickly. So if we could sort of fill up our machine, both in the sort of physical sense, but also in the business sense, with more widgets, then that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
And I just don't know where the balance falls in terms of lower margin work, filling up the machine, whilst we're trying to sort of do all our normal stuff at a different margin. Yeah. I'm a bit perplexed.
I've never been able to figure out that. Well, it's like, I feel like for your profession, this kind of like, how do you make products that are distributable? It's like, maybe they should have taught one of us that, you know, like we should have learned this in school. Like, how do we make our products profitable in this way? But I mean, those margins are probably why like the Asian manufacturing was so popular for so long, was it's the cost. You got to drive those costs down to nothing and then be able to have the MSRP or the list price be something that's appealing to a different market, basically, you know, somewhere else. And the only thing I got close to that was those laptop stands, because those were very affordable to make. And I did really well reselling them for like 8 months. And then that dropped out. One customer just like suddenly, they did the Office Space thing to me where I just stopped getting orders. And I was like, hey, something may be wrong with the email system, or you send me the drop shipped orders. They're like, oh no, we took you off our website 2 weeks ago. And I was like, what? I've been paying my rent and myself with this. Like, you don't even like tell me? It's just like, oh, well, it'll sort itself out, basically. But yeah, I don't know. I had somebody ask me recently, hey, I'm thinking about making some furniture. I see you sell furniture. And so I was, trying to describe to them what I understood about it, which feels like not very much, especially in this world of selling and manufacturing sales, from manufacturing to like wholesale, basically. And there's a lot of things, like I don't know how we would ever wholesale the knack ball. We'd have to double the price of what we're thinking, at least.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a product anymore.
No, that's right. I think like we're probably both in a similar spot where we're effectively selling direct at what is already a wholesale rate, right? Like, I don't know about you, but we've never put any structure into our pricing that would really allow for anyone else to put a margin on it. We're trying to make, good things accessible to people that are sold direct. So like for someone else to take a cut of that, basically we either have to make it a lot cheaper magically or take a hit on our margin to establish that structure. So we've never bothered, basically. But maybe there is a point at which you need to sort of look at that model. I don't know.
Locally, the only thing I've seen, I don't know anybody in like a Blue Dot or something like that, and a lot of that does get made overseas, but like locally there's a furniture maker that I kind of watched him from a distance. I know him vaguely, go from starting to make this specific chair at a certain price and say it's $1,000, and it's gone basically to $4,500 for that chair. And it was specifically because either some research he did or somebody he had talked with was like, where the money is here, like how that you make this a viable business is you work with interior designers and showrooms. And so you got to have this like 4X markup on your costs. He still sells a lot of them, but that's just a totally different clientele than like Etsy or something,
Yeah. Different structure. Yeah. And it just makes me question what we're in it for. Are we trying to sell as many widgets as possible, or are we trying to sell less widgets at the right price with sort of, accessibility in mind? I don't know.
Have you sold much of something that somebody else has made for you? Like a product where you didn't have any making involved?
No.
That's like all I did for the first, I'm not going to say this is successful. It's just, it was a thing, all these calendars and the laptop stand, and I didn't have the means to make a lot of that stuff. And I had weird ideas about printed goods for so long. That was the closest I could get. And the margins, I never could order enough where the margins made a lot of sense. Like, it couldn't have been sold to distribution and then retailer. Like, I wholesaled almost all of it, but not very well. Like, it was always like I had like 2 per product at a time, and I always wished that would have taken off, but I never found the means to. I needed a distributor basically, and I never got that figured out. It's appealing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, I'll keep pondering that conundrum.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, or if there's like some kind of like, if you simplify it, it doesn't really retain the same idea though, you know, like to make it as profitable of a unit as possible to be able to wholesale that set. I don't know.
Yeah, I can simplify it. I can sort of pare it down to its essentials. And, you know, what does that do to, how does that affect our regular customers? Are they, you know, is it different enough that it's sort of non-competitive and it doesn't matter? Or, I don't know. I'm just a bit torn by that sort of dilution. And maybe I'm aware that I'm too close to it too. Like, I'm too attached to the Kitaparts ecosystem and everything that I've put into it to probably think about it in a really clear, unbiased way. Because, you know, it's my baby. So, of course, I'm going to be protective of it.
Oh, yeah. Same thing is one of the things that always came up with potential large orders of our week planners or the calendars was people always wanted to put their logo on it. And I was always just like, you know, at the time, that was all I really, you know, had. And I don't know, I guess you're always precious about your own things. And I just was like, are you going to order 500 first of all? No, we want 30. It's like, well, I can't make this calendar. I can't make 30 with your logo on it. It just doesn't make sense. They'd have to be $100 a piece or something. You know, it's like crazy. And then, the logo, they always want their logo on things. I don't know. I just never wanted to do that. I probably should have. Because what does it matter? Like, in the end, who's going to see it? Would you put people's logos on Kitaparts or Threadboard or whatever for the right scenario?
No, I think I would cross-brand it. I'd be open to cross-branding if it was unique enough. Yeah. Even if it had someone else's on it as well. But I think that's me being a bit precious and protective. So.
Nah. I mean,
that's where I'm at.
Can you imagine having a business where you just like made products that were white labeled? It'd be so weird.
It would be weird, yeah.
We sell threaded dowel.
Yeah.
Just the dowel.
Well, it sounds kind of easier in a way.
Yeah. You're not precious about anything. Like, how can I sell it? It's like one of those, I don't know if you have these promotions companies where they just buy bulk product and like, what do you call that? Like soft stamp on people's logos.
Yeah.
Silk screen. Not soft stamp.
Yeah. When you get the branded Sharpie. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know. What was weird about, if I follow back to the beginning, it's weird about this vacation, their time off, because it was like a weird series of camping events. And one of which was 2 days where I had no cell phone service at all, no Wi-Fi.
Beautiful.
The first night, kind of panicked a little bit. Not quite panicked, but I was just like, what the hell do I do now? Like my wife was going to bed. She always goes to bed way earlier than I do. And like, we're laying in our car and I'm like, what do I do right now? Like, it not quite dark. I wasn't tired.
So when you pull out the gramophone.
I need the podcast gramophone.
Yeah.
With a crank. But what was weird about this trip more than most others, and I guess it's probably a positive thing, is like, usually I end up in those times, or just all the time, having thoughts about business, evolving something, changing this process, or just anything, a new product, a different way to do something. And like, it really didn't happen for like a week. And I almost feel like I'm wrong. Like I missed that almost, like you said with the airplane thing, right? When you're flying, like that kind of thing happens. And I just didn't get it. It's very strange.
Did you feel guilty for not thinking about
I guess
business?
So. Yeah. Like coming back and not having, a series of good and bad ideas that usually happens. That's weird. Weird for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super weird. I can relate to that in terms of the last 9 to 10 months of being in this business coaching program and sort of starting to slowly take a sort of step back from the day to day and seeing the business as a whole. There's definitely a sense of guilt of not being like that central, do everything, answer every question node of like this little this is weird. I'm just sitting in my little hole in the wall here with the door shut and,
they
working
just
away.
wave to you. They'll walk by and like, there's Jim. He used to do stuff.
Oh, used to be useful. Pretty useless now.
I don't even know what he does in there.
Yeah. No.
That's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that, but I can totally see what you mean by that. Like, would like to get there too. What feels like the right path, and we should talk about the next time. The idea that like comes up all the time when you hire somebody to help with like sales, for example, or like the job shop kind of first process, that first section of things where you intake and talk. And I've always wanted to hire somebody specifically for that, but it never feels like there's enough work for it. Like that person wouldn't have enough to do. So it's just this endless, I don't know. We should not go into that.
I know what you mean. That would be an interesting thing to chat about. Yeah. Hiring. Chicken and egg. Yeah, that's the next big one on our list, on our recruitment list, is that position.
Ooh, good. Yeah, this is next time on Parts Department.
It's next summer.
Next time on Parts Department, the guys need to hire sales positions. Who will make it?
Yeah, cool.
We'll wait till next summer. We're taking a break. Season 1 is done.
Oh, seasons. Yeah, wow. Okay.
I don't know which season. It's either winter or summer.
All right, then. Get on with it.
See if we can stitch this all together.
Good.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. I like your glasses. I'm looking at some that are actually similar to those shapes, so we'll be really similar in the end.
Well, if you can just get this profile, then we'll be sweet.
Snapped it.
Yeah.
If I just came back with the same glasses, how great would that be?